over here.
Great. Mayor and Council, again, I'm Kevin McCumber with Patterson, and we did bring a number of people with us today, and we'll introduce them in a moment, but I can't begin to tell you how exciting it is to have this opportunity to present to you. We have been following the developments with the City of Brookhaven for years now, and in fact, when the original study was done and through the legislation of getting this passed, I'm just kind of watching it as it went, and it's an exciting time, and I couldn't be happier for you. In a different role, I sit on your side of the desk. I'm a city council member in the city of Swanee. I'm in my second term there, about 6 years, and I understand your side of the job, and I think that's a real benefit here, because as we do our job, I will be considering the kind of things that you will ultimately be considering. And that's not to say that in this role we're going to worry about policy or establishing that vision. It'll be your vision, it'll be your policy, and we'll be here to carry that out. And so I'm excited for you, and I already told you a little bit about myself, so I want to take a couple minutes and tell you a little bit more about our team. Planners, can you get a stand up for a second? Great. Joe Cooley's the first person I'm going to introduce. He's our proposed director for the department. Joe will tell you a little bit more about himself in just a second. Eric Bosman, some of you may know Eric, is actually with Killing Horn. We have a great working relationship with them and with Eric. We've been working with Eric for, I'm guessing, probably 8 to 10 years now. And he's a great guy, and he's going to speak in a moment also. Allison Starnes, to his right, is an economic development specialist. He's worked for several city governments, also with the Gwinnett County Chamber of Commerce. And then Howard Kuntz is currently the senior planner in Dunwoody. And we talked to Warren Hutmacher, and Warren said it would be acceptable to bring Howard over to this side, to Brookhaven, which we think is great. Howard's been doing this for 4 years and was a key person in the transition for Dunwoody, and we think that having someone that has done this before is important to have here. Great relationships with DeKalb County and all that. Joe, you got a second to tell us about yourself?
Certainly. You hit it right on the head as far as the service goes. What we're trying to do, and I think is a vision for the planning community development group, is to a couple things. There's some core issues on it. One is that we want to work with the city, the staff, the citizens to develop a vision, mature vision, and then we want to figure out the procedures and the way to make sure that we get through this and get it in a very manageable, consistent, concise, expedited approach. I think that's important. One of the things we want to look at, and the most important thing, is the customer service. If nothing else, planning and development, all the different aspects of community development, we're the face of the city. We're the ones that work with them. And I can't say how much I think that is a critical element. You know, my mantra is smile and go the extra step to help people. I mean, you have to stand there and bear it sometimes, but that's part of the process. And what you find is that you get a better energy going, you get a really good department going, and you get great public relations, and you get citizens' input. You know, again, we want to develop the procedures to get that vision once it's developed and the processes in place to make it work long-term and short-term. We get into the specifics of how we make that work with the different divisions, code enforcement, etc. And I think one thing, too, that's really important, we always need to track accountability, and that not just as internally, but also within the community. We want feedback. A lot of cities you'll see are doing it. And again, that's critical, because we have a way to judge ourselves. It gives y'all a way to judge us and how the community sees us doing it. Real quickly about myself, I'm a AIC certified planner. I'm also an attorney focused in land use and growth management, and I'm a landscape architect. So I've kind of done the whole gambit from the development of the small scale up to the larger scale. I've got a lot of experience as a manager for community development. I've been involved in a lot of different code rewrites, unified development ordinances, currently working on developing a smart code for transit with ARC and their consultant. A lot of aspects of that, done a lot of code review and code writing, checking code for constitutional issues and things of that sort. And the reason I say that, because that saves the city a lot of money. We can save a lot of issues by having good code development. Basically, that's kind of a real quick gist. I know we got real short on time, but I think we've got a great team here. Everybody has a lot of good experience in the area. I think that's critical because we know how the area works, and we would love to come work with y'all.
Sure.
As Kevin said, I'm Eric Bosman. I began working with the Brookhaven community in 2005 when I was hired as the lead consultant for the Brookhaven Peachtree Livable Centers initiative that focused on the Brookhaven MARTA station, Peachtree Road, North Druid Hills, and Dresden. That gives us a lot of familiarity with your community. Our learning curve is not so steep. Now, that being said, the plan was completed in 2006. I also was part of the team that developed the overlay in 2007. And chances are, based on changing conditions, both political and economic, that vision needs a little tweaking and updating. And there's certainly been some mixed results in terms of the consistency and the implementation of the plan, which now you will be in full control of. But that gives us a lot of familiarity with our community, gives us a good track record with your community. We understand some of that historic vision and are excited to hopefully work with you to recraft that, update it, and help see the community's vision brought to fruition. And I'm excited to be part of this team. Kevin, Scott, we've had a lot of success together, worked in many similar communities. We're having great success in Dunwoody, as well as Alpharetta, Milton, Brazelton, Swanee. A lot of our work is not just about planning, but it's about customer service, as Joe said. It's about implementation, getting things done and getting things on the ground to move your community forward.
Thanks. The next person I want to introduce is Rich Edinger. Rich and I have worked together for about 11 years at Clark Patterson Lee, and he's just a great guy. And I'm going to have him introduce some of our building inspections and permits folks.
Thanks, Kevin. My name is Rich Edinger. Just a little bit about me. I'm a stand-up guy. I'm a civil engineer, professional engineer in 4 states. I'm a certified floodplain manager. I've been working for municipalities for my entire career. I'd like to introduce people that we have on the plan review, inspections, and permitting team. First, I'll talk about the plan review guys. Clay Rickert is a registered professional engineer and also a lead accredited professional. He'll be doing a lot of land development plan review, as will Steve Space, who's also a registered professional engineer. And Scott Gordon is a registered architect and a lead accredited professional, and will be doing some building plan review. He's also done a lot of lead accredited buildings in Georgia, did the first lead accredited city hall in the state of Georgia. And he continues to lead projects in our firm. Let me talk about permits and inspections next. James Bassett is going to be our permits manager and also work in land development inspections. He's got some experience working with DeKalb County for many years in a similar role. And Michael Nyer and Brian Reed, Michael and Brian, they are building inspectors. Michael's a certified building official and master code professional, and Brian is both a residential building inspector and does a lot of code enforcement work as well. So let me have those guys sit down and let me introduce our code staff. Tom and Brian, stand up. Before I let Tom speak about code enforcement, I want to mention that you'll notice that Brian stood up for both building inspections and code enforcement. We've trained our people to be multidisciplined so that they can tackle any inspections task and also tackle code enforcement tasks. So with that, I'm going to let Tom speak.
Some of you I know already, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. What we do, as Rich says, is cross-training. And unknown to you, I took a little ride through Brookhaven today. And I took a little ride around on Buford Highway. No residential. Just some of these pictures. And what we've done is we did not put boots on the ground. We stayed in our truck. We drove through. Chris, you're familiar with a lot of these pictures. And what we've done is just driving through, and this is what the cross-training does for you. You not only look at these things as a building inspector, but you look at them as a housing and property maintenance inspector or a soil and erosion inspector. Most firms do not do this. They layer in people, which you don't need. The other thing is code enforcement is both proactive and reactive. Okay. Most jurisdictions have building inspectors only do building inspections. Code enforcement inspectors only do code enforcement. Soil and erosion inspectors only do soil and erosion. They're not cross-trained. They don't have the certifications. We do. That's how our firm operates. One thing that we also think of is we think of code enforcement as public relations. You go out there, we hit the ground. If it's not done the right way, you all are going to get the phone calls. The city manager is going to get the phone calls. So in apartment suites, it's a proactive. But then what we do is, in your residential areas, we go in, and because we know how close everything was in a vote, so we go in and we have these courtesy notices that we have. And we say there's an issue, we'd like to talk to you about it, you may not know about it, we want to explain it. Code enforcement on the residential side is education. You just can't come in and drop everything on people. They don't understand that. It hasn't been done before through DeKalb County. So there's a way to handle code enforcement, and I don't think anybody knows how to handle it better than we do.
Thank you, Tom. All right, I think we're down to almost 3 minutes, so I'm just going to rifle through some quick pictures here. A statistic, we're one of the top 500 firms in the nation by engineering news record. Some clients of ours, there's also a board that shows all that. We are local. We've seen the people that are here today. Some befores and afters. This is the North Chase apartment complex. Kind of a nasty looking pool. I wouldn't want to get in that. And here's an after. All right, so we brought that to their attention, made them fix it. The building, you can see the gutters, broken windows, really bad shape, and what it looked like afterwards. Garbage just being strewn around, not cleaned up, and what it looked like afterwards. One last one. This one's probably the hardest one to tell. Focus on the steps and the trees in the background, and then what that looked like afterwards. So we take the job seriously, and we've made a big difference, I think. Tom got a letter from the Dunwoody Police. One of the jobs he was doing led to a big drug bust, and he got a commendation for that. So we do stumble across other things. We get involved in the community. It's just, what was it, last week? We did everything for the kids. Our people dress up as the elves and the foot soldiers and all that. And then I want to just run through some quick pictures of some of the design work we do. This is Swanee Town Center, a project that prior to me being on the city council, we did the master plan, about 65 acres, worked with their firm at the time, and implemented the design of the park and the buildings on the site. Later on, Scott Gordon over here did the city hall that's on that site also. This won a GPA planning award and was also nominated for a national award. There's some other pictures of that project there. It's a great place to bring the community together. A little further down the road in Norcross, where we first met Warren Hutmacher. We did a lot of work for Norcross. This is Living Web Community Park. Some beautiful pictures of that project. Zooming in on Swanee City Hall. Interiors of that project. This is one that just finished. As a matter of fact, Scott and I were there yesterday. Augustus Public Safety Complex that was just opened. Some of the interior shots of that. I'm showing this because you might want to do a city hall someday. You might want to do a police station someday. We do a lot of that type of work. Another one that Scott did in Garden City. And then I want to close. How much time do I have here?
35 seconds.
All right, very quickly. Experience, I talked about the fact that we've been doing this for 4 years up the road in Dunwoody. I think that's a huge advantage from our experience standpoint. our approach, you've seen that in our proposal, but we work as a team. Our reputation, you've seen our references, and I hope you take the time to call and talk to those people because we take that very seriously. We're responsive. We'll return phone calls. We'll answer the phone. We'll do the job that you expect us to do, and we believe in key performance indicators that prove that we do our job. Depth of the organization, we've got another 200 people that aren't here tonight that are resources to us. With sustainable events, several of our people that are LEED certified. We believe in that, whether it be recycling, the ordinances we put together, the overlays, all that. And then our commitment. I think that word commitment is huge. We can show our passion, but it's that commitment that's what's going to mean something in the long haul. I'm very committed.
Thank you. So do you want to start the questions, Frank?
There you go.
Okay. Jim, you want to do a question?
Staffing, it's going to change as we go through the course of the work. It's going to be a little more technical on the front end, and we get into comprehensive planning. Your flexibility and ability to sort of meet those demands, and how you see that sort of happening. What do you see happening? What's your staff going to look like early on, and what's going to transition or morph into later on in the project?
I think you'll find us to be very flexible. I would encourage you to talk to Warren about that very topic because him telling you is better than me telling you. I can sell all day, but talking to one of our clients that's seen it firsthand. In Dunwoody, they've had us add staff and they've had us cut back on some staff in various areas, and it needs to work for both of us. So we sit down, we talk about it, and we develop a win-win. And I'm very happy to do that at any time.
What is your philosophy on how you ensure that you, in community development and zoning, that you do not, or how do you deal with ensuring that your staff or community director doesn't insert his own personal beliefs on zoning and community development issues for the citizens and the taxpayers' opinions?
Right. Well, and that is incredibly important. Going back to where the vision comes from, it comes from this table right here. But we believe in a lot of community outreach. Eric's on our team in Dunwoody and has been involved in a lot of master planning efforts there for the Dunwoody Village, for the Georgetown area, for some other specific redevelopment plans. And Eric, if you want to add to this, you can, but we very, very much believe in trying to gauge the temperature of the community in the decisions that are made. But it's always a conversation. We want to hear what you want us to do. You're directing us.
I think we try very hard in our public outreach efforts to use a variety of different tools. Of course, technology is very important as a piece of that today. We pull all our community together. They're not going to agree on everything. We know there are different perspectives, different opportunities, different ideas. Our job from a staff standpoint is to help you, though, as council, and help the community clarify their vision. And then as we're going through the review and the development process, to enunciate that as clearly as we can, using the regulations and the legislation to enforce that. It's not our job to tell them how to do things differently, but it's our job to communicate what the community's vision is and then to use your regulations appropriately to enforce it.
Thank you for that. What is the first task you approach in standing up your department, and when can you start? Did I already ask that one?
No.
Okay.
Yes, but not to these things.
But I will be consistent in the answer. From where we sit, very early on, day one, we'd want to sit down with a transition team, some of the folks from our side, some of the folks from your side, and really develop a plan. That would be step one for us because we have some opinions about what that would be, but it would be very opportunistic for us to just assume what those are. It needs to be a team decision.
Could you please explain your burden or markup on salaries? We have noticed in all proposals received that this number varies.
Right. Interestingly enough, it's a debate that the CEO of my company and I have on a fairly regular basis. I've worked for him for 23 years. The company's been in business for almost 40, I think. We believe in covering our costs and making a small profit, and we've been doing that consistently for many, many years. The numbers that are in your proposal reflect that and also reflect a little bit on the risk side of it. You may notice that some of the numbers are different for different roles. We put a slightly higher burden rate on inspections and code enforcement people because there's more risk involved in that. And so that's where those numbers come from.
I'm going to ask you the same question you heard before. You're unique in that you are part of another bid as well.
Right.
And you just heard from the Jacobs team. Why would we choose Clark Patterson by itself?
Sure. I think the biggest thing that I've mentioned a couple times is the fact that we've done this. We've done a startup. I'm not sure that the other firms have, but we have. And I know that we've done it here in DeKalb County. And for the last 4 years, we've done that successfully. We've got relationships at the county, and they know what's expected of us. We know what's expected of them. And I think that's going to be huge for a startup here. I really do.
Kevin, to be more direct on that.
Sure.
What comes with the Jacobs plan that's not here now?
Well, just that. They can't say that. They haven't been through a startup.
I mean support-wise. The group.
Sure. As far as the employees go...
If the Jacobs plan is secured,
Sure.
does it include everything we have here? What's the difference?
The difference is if you look at the local experience that they have doing privatized services in the area of community development, we have more than they do. I don't believe they have that same comparison.
How much time is it? Okay. Thank you very much.
Great. Appreciate the opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
Thank you all for going out.